was actually looking forward to this film because I saw reviews for it and said it was good for a January film. What I didn't realise was that they actually said it was good for a January film. Oh. Forest stars Natalie Dormer. I think that's honestly the only person of interest in this entire, in this film. And, yeah. I'm gonna have fun. To be fair, right, okay, here's the thing. Those of you who have watched my, channel from maybe last year, they saw my top, 5 worst films. I talked about the quiet ones, which were just jump scare, jump scare, jump scare. It was a lot of rubbish. Despite this, I actually kind of liked the story, which was quite funny. And I liked the cast. And yeah, it was quite awkward because the film was completely ruined by the fact that it didn't actually seem to know how to scare folk. Mainly due to the jump scares. So, when I heard that The Forest had very little jump scares, I was also on board there as well. I hate supporting films that are just non-stop jump scares. Don't mind them, but no, actually I pretty much hate them in every, existence, unless it is done incredibly well, like an Alien or something like that. So, what exactly did The Forest do wrong if it didn't have jump scares? Well, I shall tell you. It did absolutely everything else wrong. This actually blew my mind. I'm just going to go straight into spoiler territory, so, to be honest, do you really care? It's some crappy horror film that came out in February in the UK and January in the US. Pretty much all you need to know for the quality that the studio thinks it's at. So, this film starts off with a random dream sequence that just comes out of nowhere, and yeah, it genuinely just happens out of nowhere. She wakes up and then you're like, okay, cool. Was there any point to this? The weird part is the dream sequence is like a second or two long, so it's really mind-boggling that it's there. And it's just like this weird moment in which I'm like, okay, how do I react to this? It didn't make me hate the film instantly. I was just like, okay, you got a 5-second dream sequence, you're out. No, that comes later. So we then call off and we find out Natalie Dormer's sister, twin sister, which I will admit, I understand why Natalie Dormer chose this role. It's a really good role for an actor. You're getting to play 2 completely different characters, in the same way that why Tom Hardy probably picked the role of Legend as the Grey Twins, because you got to play 2 completely different characters, and Natalie Dormer has the same. It's the same way, except I have no idea how good Legend is because I've stayed away from reviews because I am planning on watching it at some point and want my opinions to be blah blah blah. Anyway, that doesn't matter. It's not in anyone's worst list and it's not in anyone's best list. So yay, I guess. But I can understand everything that is coming from where she's coming from why she chose the role. The two characters are very different, and she gets to act along opposite herself, which, yeah, right. So now that we've cleared up the reason for why Natalie Dormer probably chose this role, we find out that our sister is missing, and none other than the Suicide Forest, which is in Japan, and it's a real place. It's a really interesting place, and I thought this would be an incredible idea for a film. When I found out it was set, before I knew anything about whether this film was good or bad, I was so intrigued by the idea of having a horror film in the Suicide Forest. It's a dark, really uncomfortable place, and I think you could easily build up a lot of tension and stuff like that from a place where people go to die, a place full of very brutal history. So I was really excited for it. Unfortunately, the Suicide Forest has no relevance to the film at all. Despite the fact that it's set there, it could easily be in any other forest, and I am not joking. I'm pretty sure that it's just, there's nothing unique about it. They don't make any attempts to make it unique. They could have, like, there is a point when they enter the Suicide Forest in which they stumble across someone who's committed suicide, and that's like the only time in which it happens. This would have been really interesting to see, because yeah, folk die and all that sort of stuff. They go and kill themselves. People don't like venturing in there unless they're wanting to kill themselves. So it creates a lot of uncharted territory that they could easily come across, like bodies and stuff like that, and it would be a lot more horrific. No, they don't have that bright idea. Instead to try to go for a psychological horror in which our main character is flicking between like sanity and not, and the forest is making her that way, because there's monsters or the ghosts are not happy. Oh, that's so interesting, so much more. And to be fair, it is actually quite an interesting concept. But the execution is terrible. Now, I shall get onto this later, but let's continue on with our story. There is none, but I will try and find it. So, after Natalie Dormer finds out her sister is off in none other than the Suicide Forest, she decides to go to Japan and find her. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Where we are treated to our first jump scare of the film, and this is one of the things that I find really irritating about this film. There is almost no jump scares, but all the jump scares are false ones. And if you don't know what I mean by false ones, it means false jump scares. It is when a jump scare happens and you think the character's in danger, but it turns out they're not, whether it's an old homeless man just randomly hitting on the taxi door, which actually happens in this film, I'm not joking. A random guy just appears out of nowhere and just taps the taxi door. He's like, and what? Okay. And the weird part was, like, I jump at almost everything in the cinema. Yet this one was so badly done that I just sort of sat there like, what have I got myself into? So there's a couple of other ones, but anyway, so Natalie Dormer finds her hotel and she has a dream, which you'll never guess how this one ends, with a semi-real, no, it's still pretty much a false jump scare. Well, kinda. The character's not in any danger because it's a dream. It ends with a jump scare, as all dream sequences should, and this is the one thing that irritates me, because I still have no faith in horror films, to the point in which I never actually feel scared by the atmosphere or anything like that. I am more just like, I really cannot be bothered diving up in the air because they put a fucking loud noise on. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm like sitting there, I'm like, when's it coming? When's it coming? Oh, there we go, up there, up in the air to go. Let's sit back down. Cool. And she wakes up. Cool. What was the point in that dream sequence? These dream sequences don't make any sense. Now, here we go. Here's just how insignificant and pointless and stupid and just a mess these dream sequences are. Natalie Dormer, when she's in the Suicide Forest, starts hallucinating and stuff like that, and you're not sure what's real, what's not. Which is fine, but why is and it's explained that the Suicide Forest makes you hallucinate and all that. So why is she having dreams of getting like attacked by her sister who's turned into a ghost, or just why am I putting thought into this? Continuing on. She goes and explores like around the place. There's a couple of scenes which I can't remember. Oh, there's a jump scare with a random woman old woman that just happens out of nowhere, has no relevance, and I didn't even know that other folk were staying where she was staying, or anything. They done a terrible job at just putting that jump scare in. It almost seems like it was put in at the last minute, because according to the studio, the audience would be bored due to the fact that they haven't reached the fucking suicide forest yet. So, jump scare! Okay. And to be fair, these are like the only times in which a jump scare happens. Which just, I don't understand. It makes the jump scares even less, just even more pointless. If there's one thing I hate more than jump scares, it is false jump scares. Fuck my life. Okay, so Natalie Dormer meets some guy who, like, yeah, he is just very forgettable. It turns out he's a reporter and is interested in finding Natalie Dormer's sister. So he takes her on a little exploration through the suicide forest because he knows someone that goes hunting for the bodies and stuff like that and retrieves them. Well, he just marks the location, which kind of defeats the whole purpose, because, okay, why doesn't the police do this? I don't know. I don't know. That might just be a logic thing that I don't get with Japan, but in the film they didn't do a very good job at explaining it. It's more just like, okay, let's go explore. Oh, there's a body! Let's just cut it down, we'll mark it. Cool. The police are never coming in here anyway, so I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. The way that they explained it anyway. So they come across Natalie Dormer's sister's tent, and she decides to stay the night, and so does the reporter guy, because he wants more stuff for his story, and yeah, he kind of likes Natalie Dormer. So, there we go, and Natalie Dormer has another dream. Yay! This time, it was like something, I don't know, it was... Maybe I was just enjoying, like, the thought of going to see the witch so much that the witch decided to appear in this film, which, bad idea, witch, please. You actually look really good. And you're meant to be really good, so please, just don't come back into this film. And yeah, guess what, another dream sequence, we then move on. There's some random Japanese schoolgirl who just sort of hangs around. She's then a demon. It doesn't make any sense why she's there, considering the rest of the ghosts are all like weird like dark creatures with like no eyes, and it's really, they're basically skeletons. The weird part is, like, the design is actually not that bad for them, but the fact that there is a Japanese girl running around like a normal ghost, or so, it's really weird. I don't know what's going on with that. It's like she starts possessing folk, but it really doesn't make any sense. They really don't explain why this person's getting possessed. Nobody else gets possessed, apart from Natalie Dormer at the end of the film. Yeah, they really don't explain it. It's just like, it's a horror film, people need to get possessed. Oh cool, we got someone possessed. Thank you, the forest. You're really doing a good job at trying to keep cliches up. So as we continue on, guess what happens? The main point that they're trying to say is stay on the path, which, by the way, there is no path because it doesn't make much bloody sense. But somehow Natalie Dormer manages to run away from the path, which there isn't a path, which I don't understand why they keep saying don't come off the path. And she follows the Japanese schoolgirl, which, to be fair, is natural. Like, you could understand her thought process. It's there's a teenage girl potentially committing suicide. You should probably try and find her. But she ends up tripping, cutting her hand, and then the report guy magically finds her. I've no idea how, because he was like completely asleep, and there was like screaming and everything. She was shouting at stop and thought into this part We're barely in the film yet. They decide to leave the campsite. I forgot to mention, the guide didn't actually stay with them. The guide, he decided to come back for them the next day at 12 noon because they felt it was too dangerous at night, and the reporter, Natalie Dormer, were really stubborn, so yeah, there's nothing he could do. So, a reporter, in his infinite wisdom, decides, how about, rather than waiting for the guide who could take us back, let's all go find a river and follow the river back. I can't actually explain this because there's just too many logical things. Fair enough, she's cut her hand, but I think she could survive long enough with a cut wrist, and it's not going to take that long. Yeah, they go and find the river, where, guess what happens? The forest decides, nope, you're not leaving, and tricks Natalie Dormer into thinking that the good old reporter has somehow kidnapped her sister. Which would be interesting if it was actually well done. No. The problem is, it's not well done at all. There's just so much fault with it. And I actually couldn't believe it. To be fair, I actually can't remember much about the scene. I just remember I hated watching it because it was just really stupid. Try to make it in a way in which you don't know whether or not he's telling the truth or whether he's lying, what's happening with the forest, blah blah blah. There's just too many points that just don't make any sense. Like, it's really hard to just sit there and admire the logic behind it, because there is none. Really, it is just, oh, we want her to think he murdered her sister so that she can be alone and we can have the lonely horror side. Yay. But, to be fair, this does lead to one of the best scenes in the film, which is, funny enough, cut short, which, yeah. Brilliant metaphor, guys. Brilliant metaphor for the film. So, in this scene, Natalie Dormer finds a bit of string and she's tying it around pieces of like wood and sticks and stuff like that, so she knows where she's coming from, where she's going, all that sort of stuff. And the forester's trying to tempt her, and she's like, turn around, turn around. And I'm actually watching this, and I'm like, this is actually quite well done. And it keeps going, and I'm like, you know what, this is actually kind of getting I'm starting to feel like a bit uneasy due to like the fact that it's starting to be quite good. 2 seconds later, turn around, and the camera pans round, and the monster's there, and then all you hear is the monster doesn't make a face around like that. You just hear the typical jump scare sound. And I pretty much sighed as she runs off. Which, does that mean the jump scare sound is actually in films? As in, like, the characters can hear the jump scare sound? That scene, like, the ending just doesn't, I don't know. She was really resistant, and it's behind her. She wouldn't really know it's behind her unless there was, like, breathing and stuff like that, but I don't think there was much breathing on her neck or anything like that. You just hear the jump scare sound, and then she's like, fuck it, I'm done, runs! And I'm actually really confused by the fact that this happened. It's quite depressing, because if they kept that scene going, then like the forest would have got more and more irritated and more desperate, so it would have been a lot more intense as it continued around. But it seemed like they were just, it honestly seemed like they wanted to create a relatively intelligent horror film, but they didn't have enough faith in their audience to enjoy it. They ended up resorting to random jump scares and stuff like that. It was a mess. Natalie Dormer falls down a hole for like 10 minutes, and that's really it. It's quite disappointing actually, because there's a lot of things that could have happened with that scene. But instead Natalie Dormer just gets scared to the Japanese girl and runs away. Oh, where we get the best jump scare I have ever seen in my life. Because it is that terrible. I'm pretty sure you'll instantly know where it's going to go when I tell you she picks up one of these little photo things and starts clicking away at it, seeing pictures and different pictures and looking away and through that. And then we get to the point in which the pictures aren't moving, it's just the same picture over and over again. And in the picture, some random, like, I don't know where it's an old woman or something just goes bleh. And it looks so fake and everything. It looks like a really cheap version of like 3D in which there is no 3D. If that makes any sense. It's one of these things in which you have to see it to believe it. That one jump scare. And I sighed. I'm just dead. So the reporter finds Natalie Dormer in the whole forest. I have no idea how. He must have followed the string, but then she left the string back. Put thought into it. Natalie Dormer magically trusts him. For some reason, I have no idea. She must have assumed that the forest was tricking her with it. Which is weird, because then she falls for the exact same thing again. I am not joking. This is why these scenes just don't make sense. She's either the dumbest person on the planet, or she is the most gullible person on the planet. If she's the most gullible, that will make sense, because the forest tells her, yeah, you murdered your sister. The reporter says, no, I didn't. Okay, forest. He murdered your sister. She is in the basement. Okay. It pretty much took logic and then fired a nuclear bomb into the logic. Bye bye logic. Continue on, and they find a little cabin in the woods. Check. Great job. Were you going for Evil Dead, or were you going for Cabin in the Woods? I honestly couldn't care less. So, as you probably guessed, the forest decides to tell Natalie Dormer, yeah, this is the reporter's home, and your sister is behind this locked door, which he just so happens to not have the key for. So, yeah. Okay. So Natalie Dormer loses it and stabs him. Pretty much what happens. Fair enough. Then the door magically opens. This is the thing. The forest just doesn't make any sense. As in, haunted. It just doesn't make any sense. Are you creating zombies? Are you some sort of witch? Are you? Are you a ghost? Can you possess people? What are you, Forrest? What are you? So anyway, she decides to go down because that's what all people in horror films do, because why the fuck not? So she finds out that in the bottom of, in the basement, is her dead parents who killed themselves. Well, it was their dad shot their mother and then shot himself. And her sister is down there as a child because her sister witnessed it. Well, she didn't witness it, she saw the bodies, she didn't. Natalie Dormer's character didn't, but her sister did. So we get a pretty good I'll go with it. A pretty good moment in character development in which she runs down the stairs and covers her sister's eyes. Which makes sense. And that's not me being sarcastic. That actually makes sense as a character. Then all of a sudden, the forest decides, you know what, we had a moment of character development. What do people like? I know! The Walking Dead! So their dad comes to life as a zombie. I couldn't make this up. So, and it's not like parody terms. It's not like the Cabin in the Woods in which they're parodying stuff. It's actually trying to be terrifying. My head hurts from this. But here's the most interesting part. Everything done with the dad zombie is very questionable. It's almost like it's done in stop motion. But they're also like cutting every couple of frames backwards. Like they cut like all of a sudden they'll have like a couple of frames that they'll reverse back to. So all of a sudden it'll be like, or making it even worse, it all of a sudden jumps frames. And I have no idea what they were thinking with this. I was just like, do they think that zombies can defy the laws of physics? To be fair, they pretty much do in terms of biology, so it wouldn't make that much. It wouldn't be that surprising if they if they did that with physics. But let's not go into that. There's just so much weird stuff. It's like the dad zombie went into the editing room and was just like, you want to know what'll look cool? This will make me look scarier. Oops, I accidentally delete 2 frames. That's fine. Let's add those 2 frames in there. So, Natalie Dormer runs out of the cabin in the woods, and all of a sudden we randomly cut to her sister, who's just hanging around in the forest because why not? She's clearly not affected by the forest at all, and it's just bantering it, I guess. I honestly don't understand why she's there. Like, why it just cuts to her. Well, I know why, because they wanted a really terrible ending, but it just doesn't make sense in the continuity of the plot. Okay, we've got like 15 minutes of the film left. So, they're both running for each other. I think they're running for. When I was watching it, it was edited in a way in which it looked like they were running to find each other, and they were going to find each other, and it was going to end like that. But no. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the police, the good old guide decided to phone the police, and they're out in the night with the guide. They don't turn back and come back in the morning. Like the guide probably, like the guide done at the beginning of the film. He's just out in the night because why not? And somehow it doesn't make sense. But they can find their way back despite the fact they've already shown that compasses don't work, and the police are somehow there, and they can get back fine. And so anyway, they find Natalie Dormer's sister. Natalie Dormer's sister finds the police. Natalie Dormer doesn't. Okay. What a great ending. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we got like this little Saw ending. And which is just like game over. And all of a sudden, Natalie Dormer realises, oh, it was me all along. I cut my wrist. And it cuts to her actually cutting her wrist, which, to be fair, that one scene of her cutting her wrist was actually quite good. Well, I wouldn't say that good. I would say it's mediocre. It's pretty good. Good job. Good job, Forrest. Then the Japanese girl just appears again, because why not? Why wouldn't we have the Japanese girl just randomly appear? Because she's essentially the guy from Saw, which I can't remember his name of because I haven't seen Saw for like ages. But she just sort of smiles. She turns into this creature. Natalie Dormer's like, oh shit, and then like hands grab from the ground and pull her on. Again, Forrest, what is your abilities? What can you actually do? Can you please give yourself some rules so that we can understand what we are up against? Never mind. It's over. So yeah, Natalie Dormer's character's dead. And then our guide, it just cuts to our guide randomly looking at the forest, despite the fact everybody's left. So good old Natalie Dormer's sister's gone in the car. They're all away. The guy's just left, and he's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna look in the forest. It's almost as if like it's a random 80s film, and the guy's just like, you, my old friend, you have been at war for centuries, and we will be at war for more centuries. And then I'm just thinking, right, okay, why does this guy have like a past knowledge with the forest? Is he gonna be our guide through all the Forest Infinite sequels that of course this film will probably have? And yeah, all of a sudden Natalie Dormer appears, because why not? And she runs at the camera, because why not? That's how you end a horror film. The monster always has to come against the camera. I have to say, The Forest is actually one of it is the worst horror film I have ever seen. And yeah, I'm actually really kind when it comes to horror films, believe it or not. Because as long as I get cool shit in a horror film, I don't care whether it scares me or not, as long as I enjoy it, or I'm scared, I will like it. Forrest, you failed to do either of them. Even if you were just like Paranormal Activity 3, which it's just a bunch of cool shit throughout the entire film. It's not a scary film at all. It's just cool. And I'd like it. But Forrest, you don't do that. You really don't. You fail at everything basic, from character development. No, to be fair, you have more of an attempt at character development than some horror films, but you still somehow manage to become the worst one I've seen. So, this might tell you something about how many bad horror films I've seen, but I'm probably going to give The Forest a 2 out of 10. Oh my god! The Forest, what have you done? I can't believe this, but so yeah, guys. As always, remember to like and subscribe. And I feel like asking you a question: what is the worst horror film you have ever seen? All right. Why do I keep clapping? I mean, it had points, reasons for clapping, but now I'm just like. Right, okay. Anyway, see you. I went full Daryl, so yeah. See ya.